Dude, this is sick, ain't it?
All right. We are live here on a Friday night. Rex Thompson is here at the Barre Auditorium in the Granite City. Rex, you have been waiting for this night for a long time. It's not tonight, it's tomorrow night that you've been waiting. But tonight you are a busy, busy, busy man. The Battle in Barre with Donnybrook Fight Promotions is about to embark on the Granite City tomorrow night. And you guys are so busy setting up tonight. Are you pumped or what?
Dude, I am super pumped. I mean, we just got some great fights going on. We have incredible teams that have come down, drove all the way from Maine, Massachusetts. I mean, we're talking Matt Probin's here. He's a professional Bellator fighter. We got Chelsea Elizabeth and Jared. They both fight out of Joe Lozon MMA out of Massachusetts. So we have huge fighters here. There's just some really, really good fights. The main card is Randy Fellion and Pete Haskins. These guys, we've been trying to get these guys to fight for 5 years. We finally made it happen. There was a little bit. Randy went through some tragedy, so we didn't know if this was going to happen. His best friend was killed in a robbery. Chucky Cable, really good guy. But Randy stood up. He got back into camp. And he's ready for this fight. It's going to be a great fight. These two that's why it's called Bad Blood. And they've been heckling each other at every show. If one's fighting, the other one's heckling and vice versa.
Now, what happened at the last one? The win that Pete Haskins got was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, there wasn't a single person in this entire auditorium that was sitting down.
So
what happened?
So that was Pete the Hammer Haskins overhand right is what that was. And I love Bruce to death. Bruce Richards, one of the toughest guys in this business, never been knocked out and fought some of the biggest, baddest dudes. So to watch him get knocked out like that was pretty impressive. Both those guys have been around here for a long time, and they've never fought each other. So this is something that I'm trying to do is make those matchups that everybody else tried and couldn't make it happen. That's what
he's a lot bigger than Pete.
He is. He is. He walks around probably 220, 230. Pete walks around at 185. Like I said, Pete's wanted to fight him for a long time. So
I have to tell you, when I just saw Pete a little while ago, and he's going to come up here in a minute, he looks really, really good. No, he really. Come here, Pete. He looks really good. He's been working hard.
You would sleep with him good looking, or
I didn't say that good. Come here, man. I think you look fantastic. You've been working very hard. Are you nervous?
Not at all.
How pumped are you, man? What's been going through your mind for the last week or two?
I'm ready to get this done. I'm going to get the KO tomorrow night.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Are you dropping the hammer?
Definitely.
How hard have you been working? I know that according to Rex, you've been spending a good amount of time in the studio. And Lucas was just saying he doesn't want you anywhere around the gym for the week prior to the fight. What's up with that?
I get all antsy and I'm ready to go. I just want to go. Can't hold anything back. I'm ready to
go. Let's talk about let's bring Rex in here. Rex, come here. Rex, tell me about the Pete Haskins fan base.
Oh, a bunch of good old boys. Lots of people. Everybody in Waterbury knows who Pete is. Everybody that looks at him like the dude from Footloose. Like, I expected you to be bigger, So, but they come out to see Pete fight. They do. Same with Randy. Randy's got a huge fan base in Rutland, so he's got a bunch of Rutland boys coming up here and going against the Waterbury boys. There's kind of this guy against that guy kind of thing, the tough guys from each town.
What are you going to do with that belt? You going to give it to your kid?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to show Randy what a real redneck does.
Ooh, ouch. Ouch. All righty then. Thank you for coming on, man. Good luck. And it was so cool to see you fight last time right here in the Barre Auditorium. When was that, by the way? It was a couple months, 3 months ago.
Yeah, it was April 420.
Oh, that's right. The 420 fight. Yes. Oh my God. Let's tell me about this.
Already, you've seen him fight before. Good looking kid, tough kid, looks great on posters. No, oh, he's a tough kid. He's got a tough match. He's going in for the 170-pound Muay Thai title. He's fighting Aaron Waite. Aaron Waite is out of Matt Probin's team. So this is another super exciting fight. Josh contacted me. He goes, I want to fight someone that just wants to bang. I said, you want to do a Thai?
Where do you do all your training?
King James Boxing. He has his own studio out in Winooski. So, yeah, he has got me ready for this fight. He is my main coach, my main trainer. So everything that I'm going to be doing in that cage is due to him.
So he'll be right there screaming at you. How old are you?
I am 20 years old. Just turned 20.
20 years old, man. Tougher than nails, brother. I wish you all the best. Good luck. We'll be watching.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Lucas, let's get you over here, buddy. This is Lucas John, who's the owner of Granite City MMA. You may have seen a little bit of us last night on Facebook. We were live up at the gym. You walk through those doors of your gym, and there's just a sense of the air is just a little bit thicker in there, brother.
Yeah, we house one of those gyms where there are certain people in there that have the biggest egos in the world, and then there's people in there with no egos at all. It's a perfect blend. It's a fight gym. It's a not fight gym. Kids are in there along with some of the gnarliest cats I know. It's just one of those places where the truth comes out in a gym like that. The true you comes out in a gym. You can't hide who you are in a gym like that. There's no excuses. When you hit the jiu-jitsu floor, you're faced with being humble. Just the way it is.
There were a few ladies, a few young women that were in the gym training with you last night, and really good. I mean, they had some really impressive kicks. And you said to me, "No, they're not planning on ever getting into the ring. That's not what it's about. They're here more for the exercise and to learn the art in case they need to use it someday."
Absolutely. I think today's day and age, there are a lot of people out there that are not okay with just being a victim. They're not okay with it. So they're going to do whatever they can do to make sure that they're never a victim. And I know who you're talking about, and I, no offense, Facebook, YouTube, everybody else that's watching, no offense, but I don't give away people's identities. I'm just not that kind of coach. But the young lady that you're referring to, and we have a few of them in there, but the one that you're referring to, she has no social media. She has no interest in being noted for that. She has no interest in fighting. But if I could video record her and put her on a website, she would be the definition of a perfect Muay Thai kick, a perfect Muay Thai, any strike, elbows, right crosses, hooks, whatever. Very dedicated to the art, very dedicated to being precise at what she does. She's very dedicated to what I teach her.
If I were incredibly pissed off, how much, and you had $500 to put on she or I, where would your money go?
She would kill you in the most gentle way humanly imaginable. And she would look graceful while she did it. She would make you look good while she kicked your butt.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely. She'd make you look like you belonged in there.
And she's got to weigh what?
115 maybe. Yeah.
Say right around 110 or so. Oh my God. That's, but one of the things that you have taught so well is, first of all, you open the sport, you welcome to the sport to all ages. Doesn't matter if you're a boy or girl, doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter.
No demographic issues. You can be any walk of life and come to our gym. There's something for you.
And again, if you want to just get in shape, you want to get up there on the bags, you want to learn how to box, you want to do any of that, you can do that. And without any pressure coming from you to get to this level, to come into the Barre Auditorium and get in that cage.
I am not a fighter. I was never a fighter. I've competed, but I was never a fighter. I was a martial artist. I got a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I have a black belt in Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm a NAC Muay and Muay Thai under Crew Ballard. And I've never had an MMA fight. I've had a Muay Thai fight, and I've trained some of the local champions in the area. Again, I'm not in this to pursue people to do anything more than they want to do. If you want to become a champion, come to the gym. You want to get in shape, come to the gym. If you want your child to learn how to defend themselves, come to the gym. And I want to be clear on one thing. We're not an old school traditional martial arts gym. That whole no swearing in the gym, miss me with that stuff, okay? These kids need an outlet. They need a place to go to get that stuff out. My crowd knows that when you leave my gym, you conduct yourself a certain way. If you act up outside the gym, you will no longer be welcome in the gym. But if you act up inside the gym, that's what a fight gym's for. And if people have an issue with what you're doing, they can settle it, as they used to say, man to man, woman to woman, mano y mano. It gets all that. To me, it makes it pure. It keeps the purity of the sport having that. You're held accountable for everything, it seems. And again, we're not your traditional martial arts gym. I mean, do I look like a traditional martial arts gym owner? I mean, let's be honest. I have a mohawk. I have an attitude. You know what I mean? You have to have egos in the fight business. For anybody that doesn't want to go to a gym with egos in it, don't come to my gym. There's egos in it. They have to be. They're local champions. They have to keep their ego. If they don't, they'll fall along the wayside. You feel me?
Yeah. So let's break it down. You got families that come in there. There's all kinds of. First off, you get on the on your Facebook page or your website, you're going to find a complete schedule that serves all kinds of folks, all different ages. But you got families in there. When I walked in with my 4-year-old girl, Lily, you had a bunch of little kids that you were teaching the basics of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which was so, I have to tell you, so impressive. Sherilyn and I and Lily were watching. We went out to dinner afterwards and we were saying, my God, he just has such a profound way of communicating with these kids and teaching them. It's not about the big, strong, muscly guy who's got a lot of weight behind him. It's about ligaments and tendons and joint movement and the physics of the human body, which also includes your arteries and your veins.
You can't fight physics. You just can't fight with physics. Physics are what they are. If your arm can only bend a certain amount and I bend it further than it's supposed to, something's going to happen. You know.
You said that it was last night. You said that it was like a hinge on a door. It'll break. You've seen big guys like Rex Thompson tapping out from his wife.
Yes, sir. I watched her one day. We were practicing some Aiki Jiu-Jitsu self-defense stuff, and I showed her how to do a retrap move where you direct your opponent one way and then you redirect them the other way. And honest as I'm standing here, his feet came up as high as you're holding this microphone. Ask him about it. She flopped him, and it was hilarious. He needs it once in a while. He needs it. He does need it. He's a great guy, but he needs it once in a while, and she was the best deliverer of it.
So one of the first steps in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is you go for a vital. If you're being attacked, you go for a vital, and then you. Am I wrong?
You're right, but you're wrong. So that is an Aiki Jiu-Jitsu. So Aiki Jiu-Jitsu is a self-defense art. So if you're coming in and attacking me, and I plan on doing a wrist lock or something fancy like you see on TV, if I just grab your limb, you're going to punch me with your other hand. That's not practical. So I need to do something to get you to release me a little bit. I need to do something to get you off of your game for just a second so that I can implement what I've been taught. And that's where the vital comes in, because if you're a tough guy and you grab my shirt and I punch you and go to move your hand, you're going to punch me back and your hand's not going to move. I need to make sure that it's vital for you to continue to do what you're doing. And that's hence the vital. So you attack a vital to then do whatever you plan on doing to subdue them.
So when you get two fighters that know this and they get into a cage together and they know this art very well, the feathers fly.
So Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, you're not going to see in the cage. Can't hit vitals. There's rules in there. That's where the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu comes into play. You're basically taking what is a standing art of Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and you're taking it down to the ground. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, whatever you want to delegate the name of it. But that's kind of what it is. It's a different self-defense and cage fighting are two extremely different things. And I want to be clear on that. They're two very different things. Cage fighting is a lot different than self-defense.
So we are again here tonight on a Friday evening. The cage has been set. I know. Do you have to split?
No, not at all. I got asked a fighter question. I'm good. I apologize for that.
No problem. That's what it's all about. I mean, Rex has got to do what he's got to do, but the cage is set. This is the third major fight here at the Barre Auditorium. A lot of your fighters are going to be here. A lot of your martial artists are going to be here tomorrow night. They're coming in tonight. They're getting on the scales. We're doing the final weigh, and then it's showtime. Give a shout out to some of your boys and girls that are going to be representing Granite City MMA tomorrow night here at the Auditorium.
So tomorrow night we have, and I'm not going to give last names. I'm just not that kind of guy. If you want their last names, look them up. I'm very much about keeping people under wraps unless they tell me not to. We got Pete the Hammer fighting in the main event, obviously. Got Chris Rooney, he hasn't been training with me long. But he came in a short while ago, said he wanted to take this fight serious. And in the amount of time he's been there, I've seen him put in more work than I've seen a lot of people that have been at other gyms for long periods of time. His work ethic's been great. He's probably going to be repping our gym. We have Philip. So Philip's not from this area. Philip's going to be cross-repping our gym and another gym that he's trained at.
And was the second guy there? Is this his first major amateur fight?
Which one? Who am I talking about?
The second one you mentioned.
No. Chris is going into a title fight. Chris holds 3 championships right now. He holds a 55 title. He's about to fight for a 170 title. So no, he's been in the business a long time. He's the only one I'm going to drop his name because everybody knows him.
and the Pete Haskins crowd.
You said his name, not me.
Yeah, so no, I did. We just had him on. We just had him on aired out just a minute ago too. But his crowd, his fan base is a bunch of sickos.
You want a story? Because I got a story. All right, so.
Show's called Aired Out, brother.
So my former employer that I used to work at housed a lot of different people in it. So I walk in, and I never used to tell people what I did there. I didn't want them to know because I don't like people to know. When I go to work, I don't wear my fight gear. I go very incognito. So I had one of the managers come up to me, and he's like, listen, you didn't tell me you were like the baddest dude ever. And I'm like, get out of here. What are you talking about? He's like, no, I know who you are. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, listen, I know that you train Pete Haskins, and if you train Pete Haskins, you've got to be a bad dude. So I thought to myself, what is it with these people? So I'm in a Subway about a week later, and I had on my UFAI shirt. Shout out to UFAI, United Fighting Arts Institute. They are the school where I am affiliated with. They're where I came from. Chris Ballard, Mike DeRosiers are the teachers up there. Deb Ballard is a teacher up there. Great school. If you're in the Burlington area, hit them up. So I had on a UFAI sweatshirt, and I'm in Subway, and this guy's standing behind me in line, and he goes, you fight? I said, no, sir, I don't, but I train people. And he says, do you know Pete Haskins? And I laughed, and I said, yeah, he's one of my students. He trains under me, and this guy went on to tell the entire Subway about how bad of a dude I had to be if I trained Pete Haskins. So in Waterbury, Pete Haskins is like, he's the guy up there. Oh yeah, and it's I love Pete to death, but it is ridiculous how these people just massage his ego up there. He doesn't need it. People, stop. Waterbury, stop.
What do you say to a fighter that has worked so hard? They have their soul invested. They have their time, sweat, blood. Everything is invested. Hope, dreams, everything. You have done all that you can. You get them in the ring, and they get their ass handed to them. What do you say afterward to make sure that this fighter is going to stay working with you and keep on going?
So the first thing you say is you tell them the truth. If they did a good job, tell them that.
If they did a good job and got their ass handed.
Right. If they did a good job and they tried, tell them that. If they didn't, tell them that. Tell them the truth first and foremost. Your job as a coach is not to massage egos and not to tamper with people's feelings. It is to teach them how to defend themselves in the almighty cage or in the almighty street. If you're one of those coaches that can't give people the truth in those situations, then I highly recommend you stop, because people are not paying you to massage their egos. They're paying you to make them better. So I would first have a conversation on what happened in there. And then depending on what happened in there, I would have a follow-up conversation with what needs to happen now. And then I would follow up with a welcome to the fight biz. If you think you're going to compete and you're always going to win, can I do that on? It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You have to be smarter than that. And the other cool thing about it is when you come into my gym during fight camp, I don't treat my fighters like I treat the general public. The general public, I'm very much, hi, how are you? It's great to see you. My fighters, I'm mean to you. When you're laying on the ground and you're tired and you think you're going to die, I'm going to call you all sorts of absurd names that if I were to be heard by my mama, she'd slap the side of my face. I'm gonna talk as much smack as I can about your manhood or womanhood or whatever I think can get to you. I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna try to break you down in that gym so that if you do get beat out there, it's no big deal. You're emotionally ready for it. 90% of the fight biz is mental, and fighters don't understand that. So if you're one of those coddling coaches, oh, you're doing a great job, the first time they get beat, it's going to devastate them. You have to make sure that they are mentally equipped for this. It's just like self-defense. They have to be mentally ready. I always tell people in self-defense class, somebody's coming up to you with a knife and they're trying to stab you, you're dead. All these old school, oh, no, you can, no, miss me with that BS. If they come up behind you and start ripping your rib cage, it don't matter what you know, you're going to bleed out on the floor. You might be able to do something to them on your way out. Good for you. You're still going to bleed out on the floor.
What do you say to, and I've heard you, but tell our viewers what you say to all of the fighters that are going to be fighting tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. You get them all together before the doors are open to the public. What do you say to them? I know one of the things you talk about is the massive level of adrenaline that they get, and how sometimes people don't even realize what they've done or what they've said because of a huge amount of adrenaline. What do you say?
So the first thing I do when I get all the fighters together is we host what's called rules meeting, where we go over the unified rules of MMA, and those are the ABC unified rules that we follow. There are some exceptions to those rules that some of the promoters that are local choose to waive. And as we're not technically a sanctioned state right now, it's up to them. There's not a lot that, and we as refs or anybody else can do about it. But we as refs, we try, and as promoters, I'll give Rex his props. He's one of the best. They try to keep it as close to the sanctioning rule set as they can possibly get. And still uphold that professional look. I know, Vermont's got a bad reputation because there's a lot of shows that try not to uphold that. But I think most of those shows have started to phase out. I think most of the local shows now are really trying to do the right thing. I really do. I firmly believe that. I think sometimes they get caught in certain situations that may look like they're not, but it wasn't intentional, I don't believe. But again, that's politics. And we're here to. So back to the story. What I usually tell them is, number one, when you're in the cage and you're hyped up on adrenaline, you're probably going to get handed a microphone to take an interview. And you want to make sure that you know that, like, your mama, your grandmama, your daughter, your auntie, whoever that person is to you, pretend they're watching you. And I usually follow that up with, these fighters don't understand that when you get in there and you lock the cage, even if you're no good, even if you're absolutely terrible at mixed martial arts, and they threw you in the cage and you get beat up, some little kid somewhere thinks that you are the next GSP, Anderson Silva, whoever you want to call it, Don Cerrone, whoever. They think you're that guy. You're their UFC hero. You're their local hero. So I tell the guys, if you get thrown a microphone in your face and you're hopped up on adrenaline, turn around and then take it away and lose your filter, because these kids look up to you. And one thing that always drove me nuts about sports, I don't watch basketball, I don't watch football, I don't watch baseball, because in my humble opinion, most of the sports athletes that make that big money and have that big limelight, they're arrogant pricks. And you have no reason to be an arrogant prick. You get paid millions of dollars to do something I did for free on recess, and you're an arrogant prick about it. You can't fight. You can't protect yourself. Like, you shoot a basketball in a hoop, you throw a football at another person you double leg take somebody down with a bunch of pads on. You know what I mean? Like, you have no reason to demonstrate yourself like that when you know damn well these kids are buying all your gear and looking up to you. You think you would be a little more humble with the way you presented yourself. You know what I mean?
Of course I know what you mean. And keep your mouth guard in your mouth.
Keep your mouth guard in your mouth after the fight. Don't pull your gnarly mouth guard out and throw it out to the crowd. I don't know. These guys, they expect it like a baseball game where like the ball's coming and they're like, oh, I'm going to catch it. They don't want your mouth guard. It's covered in snot, blood, saliva, whatever you had stuck in your back tooth. Like, get out of here.
Part of the tooth.
And then the fighters will come in Monday morning and they'll be like, hey, where's my mouth guard, coach? Oh, you mean the one you threw in the fourth row?
All right, final question for you. This is Lucas John, by the way, the owner of Granite City MMA. We're here at the Barre Auditorium tonight, live on this Friday evening with the cages being set up. We've got fighters coming in for their final weighing. A lot of busy activity around here. Look at this. Look at the crowd over here. Final question. What? Tell us about a time when you were grossly humbled that you might remember, and how it maybe still sticks with you today.
Actually, both of my coaches, Chris Ballard and Mike DeRozier, were very good at humbling me when I had a chip on my shoulder, because I had plenty of chips on my shoulder throughout the years. But I got a funny story. So when I was a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the time, and I was doing very well against the other blue belts in class, and I was doing really well against the other purple belts in class, which are a level above where I was at the time. So I was voicing my opinion one night in class. My jiu-jitsu coach, I said to him, I said very arrogantly, yo, how many more of these belts do I have to submit before you give me my belt? And he was very cool about it. He didn't say anything. He just kind of smiled at me, and I just kind of... So we finished class, no big deal, nothing was said. I went back to class the next day, nothing was said. Did the class, we get ready to roll the following class. And my professor comes over to me and he sits in front of me and he kind of smiles. And we rolled, and we usually roll for like 5-minute rounds, but we rolled for like 45 minutes, and he absolutely destroyed me in every facet of the ground game. Pressured me, submitted me a bunch, just made me feel like I didn't belong. And when he got done, I was laying on the mat. I was sprawled out. I was breathing heavy. I was sweating. And my ego was busted up because I just got beat up pretty good. I mean, I got beat up. And he came over and he pats me on the stomach and he goes, you'll get your belt when you're ready, kiddo. And then I went home and I thought about that. And he was right. Like, I was physically there, but I was a prick. I didn't have that next level attitude. I was still caught in that blue belt attitude. And he was right, and he made me realize that. So now, ever since that day, I try to catch myself whenever I think that I might be, or whenever somebody projects that I might be, try to take a step back and think about, like, do I need to be humbled again? Because I needed it. And Mike D, I love you, thank you. Crew, love you, thank you. Those guys made me the teacher, the gym owner that I am.
Congratulations on your recent black belt, man.
Thank you. Yes, got my black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a couple weeks ago. Got my black belt in Aiki Jiu-Jitsu in 2014. So this was a big deal. Not my first black belt, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt means a lot. So no, it was good. It was good. It felt good.
Congratulations, and God bless, buddy. Thank you so much. That's Lucas John. We're going to just kind of slide aside here. Rex Thompson is... Yeah. Rex is going to be bringing some folks in here on the scale. Again, we're here at the Barre Auditorium on this Friday evening. We're going to turn things around here for you a little bit so that you can see what's going on. The cage, as you can probably see, has been set up. And we're just going to let you just kind of have a look at the atmosphere here.
Sean McCauley from Team Recon out of Maine. Sean weighed in at 160.5. Brandon Layton, get up here.
So when was your first fight? My first fight was November 2017. And this is going to be your fifth fight.
Once again, we are here at the
an independent fighter fighting out of Rutland.
Barre Auditorium.
Brandon just had a fight about a month ago. I think he won by knockout.
Final
25 on the nose.
A lot of fighters doing their final weigh-in again tonight up on stage at the Barre Auditorium. Shout out to Donnybrook Fight Promotions out of Williamstown for putting this all together.
Fighting out of UFAI, 187.6. Michael's making his debut in MMA. He'll be fighting In Barre. Feel free to clap, people. Greg Ashera.
So tomorrow night is when the Barre Auditorium here is going to be just cram-packed with people. We invite you to come on in. Doors open at 6, and the doors at 6, and the fight begins at 7 o'clock. The Battle in Barre, 3 Bad Blood. So again, we're going to let the camera go for a little while. For those of you that
United Fighting Arts Institute in Burlington, Vermont.
This guy is amazing.
184
pounds. Saw him fight last time on April 20th here at the Barre Auditorium.
Liam is fighting Jake Woodside out of KOB. Jake, where are you at? $186. Let's get some photos. Jake's going to be making his Muay Thai debut tomorrow night. Where's Anthony Parker? $171.9. Anthony Parker's going to be fighting Philip Schneester. Not sure how to pronounce that there, Philip, but I'm sure you'll school me on it. I'm just going to call you the Czech. 170.5. Philip's got himself a top fight. Him and Anthony are both undefeated. that's going to change tomorrow night. $126.2. Chelsea fights out of First Class MMA and Lozon's Gym. Lozon MMA out of Massachusetts. She's going to be fighting Natanya Champion. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited to watch these two girls fight. Hey, Chelsea, stay right up here. We're going to do a face-off. 125.4. Yeah, we'll have you guys do a face-off. Sorry about that. I jumped the gun. Those guys that have opponents here, I want you to do a face-off pick. Right over there. Right in front of the banners. Let's give these girls a big round of applause. Philip and Anthony, head back up there. We'll get some face-off picks.
No, I'll get his smile now. No more of this, my guys.
John Newbury and Jared. Jared fights out of Lozon MMA out of Massachusetts. Both these guys are going to make their Muay Thai debut. Couple tough cats right there. Brandon Gibbs, where you at, buddy? Brandon fights out of Hudson Combat Academy. He's also the former Donnybrook 145-pound champion. Brandon Gibbs weighed in at 147.2. His opponent is Jay Batchelder, another former champion of the 145-pound title. Tom Foote, where are you at? Tom's fighting out of KOV in Bennington. Tom just had a tough fight over Cage Wars.
Oh, nice.
259.9. I forgot Ab did a job.